It could be a glimpse into Florida's future. California, the first state to legalize medical marijuana, is now seeing a dramatic increase in home delivery of pot to patients. Mobile marijuana businesses now number in the hundreds in and around Los Angeles.
This November, you'll have a chance to decide whether to legalize wider use of the drug for health problems here in our state. If Amendment 2 on the ballot passes, the state, House, and Senate will write the rules and regulations. News 4 Jax investigator Vic Micolucci has been digging deeper, talking with legislators on both sides of the debate about the job they could face next spring.
Why can't he do that?
3-year-old Dahlia Barnhart's mom says it's brought the little girl's life back after she was on her deathbed with brain cancer.
I saw the improvement immediately, her quality of life, and also in the MRI scans that the tumor is shrinking.
Kathy Jordan says medical marijuana has kept her living decades longer than the 5 years doctors told her she had left to live when she was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease.
Not one doctor ever told me to stop. Not one.
Many people call medical marijuana a wonder drug, the remedy to hundreds of ailments.
The truth about cannabis is that it is possibly the most valuable plant that there is on this planet.
And come November, it's up to you to decide if medical marijuana should be legal in Florida. It's on the ballot as Amendment 2, thanks to 786,000 people who signed a petition for it. If 60% or more vote in favor, medical marijuana in Florida will be a reality.
Do you think this year is your year to get it passed?
Yeah, there's no question that the constitutional amendment is going to pass this year. The polls show it running anywhere from 70 to 85% in favor. And I think people realize that we've got to get away from that 60s era reefer madness type of attitude.
Palm Beach Senator Jeff Clemens has been pushing for legalization for years, and he's the father of the bill that would make it happen this time around.
It's all about compassion. I mean, these are people who need our help. And when somebody rolls into your office in a wheelchair and they tell you they've tried all the heavy narcotic drugs and they make them feel terrible, they don't work, but then they tried cannabis and it helps them deal with their Lou Gehrig syndrome, their MS, their cancer treatments, it's hard to look those people in the eye and say, I don't want to help you.
Senator Clemens knows it's a slippery slope, but he told me lawmakers will proceed with caution.
When you hear some of the opponents of this amendment talk about how children are going to have unfettered access to marijuana and how this is going to be like another pill mill situation, that's just simply not true. The legislature or the governor's office will have the responsibility of implementing proper rules to be able to deal with those situations.
Local leaders like Senator Aaron Bean are worried about the proposal because they say it's too broad and too vague.
This is bad for Jacksonville. It's bad for Florida. That amendment that's going to legalize medical marijuana in a way that's just so loosely written that it could be abused.
More access to marijuana, even if it is regulated, has some concern.
So it will make your job harder?
A lot more difficult.
Lawrence Hills runs Duval County's teen court program. It's an alternative to jail that tries to keep first-time offenders out of trouble. He says 64% of teens in the program are coming in testing positive for marijuana.
I think that certainly marijuana use is associated with a lot of other crimes, particularly entry-level crimes.
Teen court counselors are trying to teach kids to stay away from crime and drugs. Today, they were doing community service at a food bank.
I got rice already.
And they worry if medical marijuana is legal, more children will have to come through this program.
I think it would make it a lot easier for them to get their hands on medical marijuana from the standpoint that right now we have a huge problem with prescription drugs. And if a doctor can write a prescription for Concerta and these kids are exchanging it in school, I think the same would go for marijuana.
Senator Clemens says the bill he filed is very detailed. It's 157 pages and covers the bases to be sure that medical marijuana is used properly and that it is not abused. Lawmakers will decide a number of things like if it will be taxed. In California, for example, it is, and they made about $100 million last year off tax revenues alone. Documents I found show Florida could stand to make that much or even more, as much as $330 million a year. I'm Vic Micolucci, Channel 4, the local station.